light, was so proudly we hailed, and the twilight's last gleaming, whose cross stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, Satan's that star-spangled banner yet wave, o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you'll remain standing for our invocation, please bow your head with me. Let us pray silently together, each one according to our individual beliefs. Let us offer thanks for our food and blessings for one another. Let us be a source of hope for those in need and a source of contentment for those who are lonely. Let us give gratitude for our opportunity to serve Rotary. Let the feelings of love, kindness, and a well-directed yet gentle spirit always be reflected in our actions. Please keep your head bowed for a moment of silence for the loss of our Rotarian, Aaron Davis. Thank you so much. You can be seated. We unfortunately don't have a guest today, but I love such a big group here. So we'll go. Next, go to some, before our announcements, a very special presentation for one of our here. So I'd like to call Randall up to the mic to present this award.
Okay, so you probably see we're in our last day. This is a very special day. Something that I've not experienced in 23 years of scouting as an adult leader, I've actually never seen or actually met someone who received this award. This award is especially special, both scouting as well as Rotary. This award is called the Cliff Dockman Award, and Cliff Dockman served as the president of Rotary International during 92-93. His professional career was in higher education, which included 20 years at the University of Berkeley as well as University of Pacific. He was a very community-oriented, youth-directed individual. He introduced Eagle Scouts in 1939 at Central Ohio Council, and he reached his 14th birthday, which is really quite an amazing thing. His son was an Eagle Scout, and Cliff was camp chief for a number of camps. He also went to Jamboree in 1997. I could go on and on and on. This is an individual that played both Rotary and Scouting very close to his heart. An amazing person. If you haven't had a chance to go look up Cliff Dockman after this, I think you should take that respect because I cannot, with the time that I have today, give him the respect we do. He's been awarded with the highest honors of Boy Scouts. We got Silver Beaver, which is a fantastic award. Silver Antelope, he was a Distinguished Eagle, actually in 1991. Cliff was also presented the Silver Wheel Award, which is another inclusive award within the Scouting world. And that one has to do with the International Fellowship. For 45 years, Cliff was an amazing leader in Rotary. He gave almost all of his private time to Rotary. He did almost everything he could in his life to try to build relationships throughout Rotary communities as well. As scouting, he was part of 4-H, he was part of a number of other affiliations. I just don't see how a person can do all these things in the right coined phrase was that real happiness is in helping others. And I think that's really where we are at Rotarians. We're always trying to help others, trying to make other people. And Chris Wood is one of those individuals that I believe exemplifies all of the tenets, all of the sort of balances that you take in life. He's not practicing with but he's got an interesting thing. We're going to go through time of this, but he's a person that makes a difference wherever he goes. He's always available. He's also a Mason, his brother, and so I watched him progress and make me a better person. So all of those abilities seem to just run in his blood in a similar split. And also, there's one other person, Ed Morrison, the only other person in this room and in my life I've ever met to see this morning. So how rare is it? It's like, I don't know, it's like snow weather. But the point is that it's a well-deserved award, and I'm so proud to be able to honor us as a club as well as Chris McWood with this award and carry it well with his, as he moves forward in his life, doing great things for the community. And I couldn't be more honored to present this award. Thank you, Chris, for all you do. And I've got a couple items here. Matter of fact, it wasn't a surprise about this, so I had to put the actual knot of his lapel here, just so you can see what these things mean. They're not for us, they're for all the others. Ask those questions. What is this? The little guy, maybe a tiger cub, pointing up and saying, what is this right here? Or what's that color? And then they ask questions and they engage about what you use because it gives us some commonality. So Chris has all those things, justifies them. And one thing I want to do is I want to put this on you today because this is obviously a special medallion that I know Ed's got one. That's really cool. So I'm going to put that on today. And you can wear that proudly. And I've got a certificate here as well as some other items that you will enjoy. Just thank you for allowing me to present this. And see Chris with this continuing blessing.
Thank you so much, Michael, and thank you, Chris, for everything you do for the community and for Rotary and Boy Scouts. And all right. Next up, we have some October birthdays. Now, if you have an October birthday and your name is not on this list, it's because it's not in Club Runner. So you can download the Club Runner app, and then you can go to Edit Profile, and you can change your information, your profile pictures, and it's a great way for other Rotarians to find you, provided you want to be found, which I think that you all do. And so if you would update that, also instantly when it's going out, so make sure we have your good address, and that's a club. You can do that with the Club Runner app, or definitely you can also do it online. Okay, October birthdays. Lou Aaron. If you're here, would you mind standing? Lou Aaron, Lisa Blackmon, John Gimble, Larry Holsey, Don Lewis, Erica Burnett, Johnette McCowan, and David Willie. We're not going to make Larry speak to himself, so I'm going to get you started, so you'll have to excuse the voice. But please join in. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Rotarians. Happy birthday to you. I'd also like to recognize one of our Rotarians, Jessica Addis. If you have not picked up the most recent copy of the Waco, I encourage you to do so. Jessica is front and center, and so it's always wonderful to see our Rotarians out and being honored. And so we, again, would welcome any news or announcements that you have. You can email them to Joanne at the office for Rotary if you have done something memorable, or you know one of your fellow Rotarians has, and you would like to bless them with our recognizing them at a meeting. All right, so now I would like to invite our chair today, Ryan Luna, up to introduce our speaker.
Prosecutor, professor, author, today I introduce you to our now Dean, Jeremy Counsellor. Jeremy serves as the Dean of the Baylor Law School, only the 12th Dean in the law school's storied history. Baylor Law School is the oldest law school in Texas and is known by some, as the Marine Corps of Law Schools for its intense third-year program called Practice. And we can't mention Baylor Law School without mentioning Practice. Dean Counsellor takes the helm of the law school after succeeding Dean Brad Tobin, who many of us in this room are very familiar with, announced his retirement in 2023 after having served 31 years as the law school dean. Dean Counsellor has had a distinguished career in government, private practice, academia, and I would encourage you to go on the law school's website and read his full bio. I encourage you to go read that. But what you may not read in his bio is that Dean Counsellor also holds the Abner McCall Chair in Evidence at the law school, a very distinguished post that teaches evidence to law students. And what I have learned recently is that Dean Counsellor lives in Abner McCall's home. And the person who first lived in Abner McCall's home is the one and only Lee Lockwood. So it ties it all in nicely. Put a bow on it for you. Please help me welcome Dean Jeremy Counsellor.
Well, thank you, Judge Luna, for that very kind introduction. It's good to be here with you today. I want to give you sort of an overview of some of the goings-on at the law school, especially the things that connect with the Rotary Club's commitment to service. It's certainly something that we have in common in that regard. But I want to tell you first about our student body, because I think that our student body will tell you a lot about our law school itself. Oh yeah, she warned me about this. Okay. Down is forward. So we have 383 students at the law school. That's a little bit fewer than we normally have. We normally have around 400, but we always try to keep the law school student body at about 400 students, give or take. We never hit it exactly, but that makes us one of the very smallest law schools in the country, and that is true by choice. We don't want to be larger than that. We think that we educate students best in an environment with fewer students. There are law schools that are much, much larger than that. But we feel like when you have the ability to form sort of those mentoring relationships with students, it's easier to do that when you have fewer students in the building. We are 49% male, 51% female. Across the country now, there are more female students in law school than male students. It's about 53% nationally, about 53% female, 47% male. That is a trend that I don't think it's a trend anymore. It's just a fact of life now. And it's been true for a number of years now. Our numbers have been, for the last, 4 or 5 years, mostly female. So that's something that we see in legal education nationally. A little more than 28% of our student body is ethnically diverse. Nationally, That's about 33%. We have gone from numbers much smaller than this to where we are today. We do not, we are race blind in our admissions process, but what we have tried to do is to make sure that everybody feels, show a little Christian hospitality to everybody who comes to law school, and that seems to have made some difference in terms of our diversity. Amongst religiously affiliated law schools, we are right at the top in terms of our diversity numbers. Our students come from 143 different degree granting institutions and 40 states and countries. And that's a lot, given that we only have about 400 students. We just let in a fall entering class in late August. We do this every year, but our fall entering class this year is 41% coming from out of state. And that's very different for us if you look back 20, 25 years ago. But 4 in 10 of our newest law students are coming from out of state. I think part of this is because we have expanded student recruitment efforts. But the other thing, I think it may be true that this is a holdover from COVID. We all saw during COVID a number of universities and schools went online and spent years entirely online. The education was delivered entirely online. One thing that I think Baylor University did an excellent job was handling COVID. When COVID hit in March of 2020, all the classes went online. Very shortly after that, Baylor had students back in the classroom. They put testing facilities on the campus. If you tested negative, you go back to class. If you tested positive, you go online until you're not tested positive anymore. And so I think a lot of people who saw their children or the students themselves were tired of being shut up in an apartment or a dorm and doing school entirely online thought, hey, maybe Baylor's a good place to go to school. And I think there's some holdover from that. There's a tail that we're still seeing some benefit from. Our student body consists also of 16 U.S. military members or veterans. Some of these are veterans. They've been honorably discharged from the military. Others are still active duty military. The military has a program called the FLEPS program, which allows students to attend the law school while they're active duty military, with the idea they go back into the military into the JAG group. And because we're small student body, we have a very low student to faculty ratio, about 5.6 students per faculty member. That helps us develop the sort of mentoring relationships we are trying to get. I'm going to brag about the law school here a little bit, some things that have happened I think we can, as a community, be really proud of. There is a magazine that is popular amongst law students and those who are seeking to go to law school called the Pre-Law Magazine. This is the magazine that mostly undergraduate students interested in law school look to, and we were recently named the #1 law school in the country for practical training, which is appropriate because our ethos at the law school is we prepare students for the practice of law. We're not a graduate program, we're a professional program, and we know what sort of challenges lawyers are going to face out in the practice, and we pride ourselves on preparing them for those challenges. So it's nice to be recognized by this publication. We are #3 in the nation in terms of trial advocacy. U.S. News ranks law schools by various programs that they have. We're #3 in trial advocacy. We've been in the top 5 for the last 15 years. So we're incredibly proud of that sort of sustained excellence. And for the year just completed, 2023, the last year for which we have sort of full numbers, we placed our students very successfully into jobs. 95% of our students had jobs within 10 months of graduation. 75% of our students have jobs at graduation. Many of our students have jobs a year or two before they will graduate. But these statistics placed us #6 in the country for job placement amongst all law schools, #6, in jobs that required a JD. You can be counted as employed if you go get any job. The ones that really matter are the ones that require the JD that you just paid for and you just worked so hard to get. We were number 6 in the nation on that, which really puts us in some rarefied air amongst law schools. One of the things that we emphasize, spend a lot of time bragging about, is our success in interscholastic competition teams. There are moot court competition teams that simulate an appellate argument before an appellate court. There are mock trial competitions that simulate a trial. There are now negotiation competitions. There are pre-trial competitions. There are business and transactional law competitions, client counseling competitions. We compete in all sorts of competitions, and we have had tremendous success, including recently 2 national championships. Now, people don't get as excited about mock trial or moot court national championships as they do about basketball national championships, but we get pretty excited about it because they are pretty few and far between. We've won one for the last 2 years in a row, so we're very proud of that. We're proud of our students because we work them really hard. And then they volunteer to do even more work and to go out and be as successful as they are. It's something that we're proud of them about, and we're just grateful for. I wanted to spend some time, given the Rotary Club's dedication to service, to talk about what we do about service and how we try to get our students engaged in service. Part of it is a mindset change that we want our students to have. You know, when law students arrive on their first day, they have different reasons for being there, right? They're not all there for the same reason. Many of them don't really know what lawyers do. And so they're finding, I mean, some of them are just smart kids who are afraid of blood and didn't want to go to medical school, right? And so what we've got to do is kind of give all of them this common understanding of what lawyers do. What we tell them is lawyers serve people in need. That's what lawyers do. It doesn't matter what kind of lawyer you become, that's what you do. So it starts with a mindset, and then what we want to do is give them opportunities to serve other people. And there are plenty of those opportunities for our law students. I want to tell you about just several of them. One opportunity we give them is in sub-Saharan Africa, in Zambia. We have now, for a number of years, worked with a non-governmental organization in Zambia that is trying to improve the Zambian criminal justice system. In particular, oftentimes children are charged with some pretty serious crimes, but even though they're minors, they tend to languish in jail awaiting trial. And so our students work with this nonprofit, non-governmental entity called Up Zambia to do a couple of things. One, to improve the conditions in the jail for these students. So they visit the students, they bring them things, clothing and other items that help improve the conditions. And then the other thing our students do is work to get them out of detention while they're awaiting trial. These are the sorts of crimes that in the United States they would be out on bond. They would not be waiting for trial in a jail, but they would linger there for months or even more than a year. So our students are there helping them do that kind of work. So it's a great experience for our students because their criminal justice system is based on the British system, which is very similar to ours. So our students get meaningful experience in a courtroom setting, and they're really making a big difference there. Most of what we do in the way of service is more local, and I think that's as it should be. We have a number of different pro bono and public service programming that we do. Much of it, most all of it is geared towards our community. Much of it is geared towards our veterans and first responders. So I want to talk to you about some of the things that we have done here, especially in the last few years. This is just a list of all the sorts of things that we do. I'm not going to read through this list, but on the left side is all of our legal clinics. We provide legal services to people in the community. We don't have the capacity to provide legal services to everyone in the community, but we have focused those services on people who have served us, on veterans and first responders and others as well. But we really have a lot of programming for veterans and first responders. And then we have National Adoption Day. We have our People's Law School, which is for the community, open to anyone in the community, and just a number of other pro bono programming. We have been awarded many times, including at the national level, for our pro bono efforts. And so service is not something that's lip service for us. It's something that we are trying to be excellent at because it's what we think, it's what we want to model for our students. We think it's what lawyers do when they're at their best. I want to talk to you about a little more detail about some of our legal clinics. Our Veterans Clinic, just in the past year, 28 students assisted more than 200 veterans and their spouses. They have served since the Veterans Clinic's inception nearly 2,500 veterans. And you all know we have lots of veterans here in Central Texas, so there's lots of need. We have a estate planning clinic. They've served hundreds of people since the estate planning clinic's inception. We have a trial advocacy clinic, again, good training for our students, but they're helping juvenile those juveniles who've been detained here in our community. And then we have a family law clinic that is brand new, that's providing legal services in certain kinds of family law cases, the most common ones that we have. So we're very proud of all of those clinics and the work that our students are doing. So it's a win-win. Our students get experience, our community gets a benefit. Upcoming for us is National Adoption Day. And one of the things that we do on National Adoption Day is we have Adoption Day at the law school. This year it's on November 22nd. And the idea is we want to create a joyous environment in which these foster children find their forever homes. There is always a theme based on a popular movie. And this year it is going to be Family is Chosen. That's from Harry Potter, and I think I am going to be required to dress up as a particular character. I'll let you guess which one. You know, if you have the idea that when you become dean, you tell people what to do, that is not the case. All the people tell you what to do, and I've got to dress up like a certain bad guy in Harry Potter. So this Adoption Day, if you want to be in a place filled with joy and excitement, come to law school on Adoption Day, and you will, this year, you will see Hogwarts when you walk in, and a bunch of foster children finding their forever home. So it's a wonderful thing that we do. And I believe the founder of Adoption Day, is that right, Ian? The founder of Adoption Day is here with us. This is Angela's brainchild, and it's just been a wonderful, wonderful thing. People's Law School. The People's Law School is something we do every year where it's open to people in our community, anybody who wants to come. It's a half-day program. There are a number of different topics that will be covered by real experts in the area. And so some of those topics have included things like elder law, employment law, estate planning, family law, landlord-tenant matters, and then laws affecting small businesses. And we also have programming on things that are just maybe of interest at the time, or just a little bit fun. I do typically a thing on the law in movies, and how you probably shouldn't learn your law from what you see in the movies. But you're not going to walk away being able to, understand what your estate planning should be, but I think it's an enjoyable presentation. So there's a combination of those things, and participants pick 3. We give you breakfast, and it's just sort of a way for the community to come into law school and maybe learn a little bit of law, and also also enjoy themselves. So that's the People's Law School. Now, one other thing that I did want to talk about, I mean, I'm sure it's not lost on all of you that Baylor University is a Christian university. The law school, of course, is religiously affiliated. And one of the things that when you are trying to become the dean, when you apply to be the dean, one of the things everybody asks you is, what is your vision? What is your vision? What is your vision? And I was always a little bit uncomfortable with that question because, as I've said to other people, if it's my vision, it's never going to become a reality. It has to be kind of a shared vision. But the essence of the vision for me for the law school is the words inscribed on the walls, the exterior wall of the law school, which is Micah 6:8. What does the Lord require of you but to do justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God? And it was important to me that we lean into our Christian mission and identity. I heard from students that they wanted more of that. You know, we want everyone to feel like they belong at the law school, including those students who came to the law school in part because of its Christian identity. So there's some things going on at the law school right now that we've started just recently. There's a Dean's Devotional. Once a month, we do a devotional. It's about 30 minutes, and the students come, and we just do read some scripture and a quick lesson, sort of akin to a chapel service. We've had one so far. We had 101 students attend. Now think about that. There's 383 in the building, 101 students attended, so we're well over 25% of the students attended the first devotion. So I think there's a real hunger for that. We also did this year an invitation to worship, which is all of the faculty, the staff, and some students will invite the new law students to their own house of worship, whatever that is, in an effort to help these students who, again, are coming, all of them are coming from outside the Waco, many from outside the state. Those who are interested in getting plugged in. I'm not compelling everyone, it's an invitation, it's not compulsion. But for those who want to get plugged into a local faith community. And then we also have a prayer service as well. And I think we will do it at the beginning of the school year. We did it this year in the early fall. So I think that went really well. So if you're looking at ways to get engaged at the law school, there's some opportunities for you to do that. You can, and this is really helpful if you're ever interested in this, you can serve as a juror in practice court that Judge Luna mentioned. The culminating experience for the students in practice court is to do their big trial, okay? We like to make sure that we have, I don't mean this in a condescending way, I mean this in a positive way, regular human beings as opposed to lawyers serving as the jurors. It makes a tremendous difference for the students to hear people who might actually serve on juries in the future to tell them, this is what I thought about when you did this, when you did that, this is why I decided what I decided. And so if you want to volunteer to serve as a juror, it's usually either a 1 afternoon or 2 afternoon commitment. You can reach out to Catherine Sims, who's on our staff at law school. And then if you know of a student who wants to visit either Baylor University or Baylor Law School, you can arrange for a visit through those links there. And then happy to answer any questions, assuming I've got some time. Okay. Answer any questions you have. Yes, sir.
Clerkships.
Clerkships.
We've got a small law school, small student body. I feel like over the years, Baylor has kind of disproportionate impact because of that public service. They reports all the country.
We typically place, and it varies widely. One thing about being a small law school, if you have 2 more students do a thing, or 2 fewer students do a thing, your numbers move like this. But we typically have, I just saw this data, between 8 and maybe 16 or 17% of our students do a judicial clerkship after the law school. And so that's really high. Recently, we've been in the top 10 top 10 in placing clerks in the country. But it goes up and down each year. Right now, and I know you know this, but right now, the Texas legal job market is really strong. It's really strong. It's strong nationwide, but it's really strong in Texas. And I shouldn't say this in the Berkeley Club, but right now, lawyers are making money hand over fist. Okay? I mean, they're making money hand over fist. And so that affects students' decision, right? Because if you're going to go through a federal clerkship, you're passing up some money. And so as the economy moves, so too do their job choices. But I am proud of that. We do a lot of programming to try to encourage students to do federal clerkships and other judicial clerkships, because as I have told students, as I did a federal clerkship, it's the first job you'll ever have, and it's the best job you'll ever have. Unfortunately, it comes right at the beginning, and it's just 1 year. So, other questions? Yes, sir.
Did Baylor actually integrate that as part of the requirements to graduate law clerkship?
No. No, you really can't, because that would be compelling a certain kind of employment. It is, I would say it is sort of like an apprenticeship, which is one of the things that makes you think that'd be a really good idea for everyone to do that. But what most all students do is something akin to an apprenticeship along the way. They will work for a lawyer, they will work for a judge, they will work in a governmental agency. They'll do something along the way or after law school. But we really can't require a 1-year job. In large part because there aren't enough of them. There just aren't enough of those to go around. I mean, federal judges are very picky about who they will hire. So you just can't require that. Or we have a backlog of students who never graduate. So I don't think any law school really requires it. Yes, sir.
Would you expand on the subject of international experiences that we also?
Yeah, so we have two study abroad programs. One is the one I mentioned to you. It's actually an externship program. It's not technically a study abroad program. One is the Zambia program. We also have a program in St. Andrews, Scotland that is focused on advocacy. An advocacy program. I started that program. We had the first offering of that program in 2013, and I'm no longer in charge of it. I handed it over to the director of our advocacy program, Robert Little. But it's been an incredibly successful study abroad program because it's one of a handful nationwide that actually attracts significant numbers of students from other law schools to attend. So most of the students who attend, you look back over the history of the program, most of the students who attend that Baylor Law Study Abroad program are not Baylor Law students. They are coming from other law schools around the country because we've got a reputation of being really good at trial advocacy training. Now, we have a lot of Baylor Law students who go every year as well, but the majority, probably historically about 60% of the students are coming from other law schools. Yeah, those are our two. Yes, sir. I think it's 13%. 13. Yeah. We get about 4,000 applications a year, and we accept 13. Of course, fewer than that will actually come. I mean, you try to predict based on historical data what's your yield going to be when you accept 13%, how many show up. So it's a difficult game to play. Yes, sir.
In the past, you've had an extremely high pass rate for the first time taking the bar exam. How is that?
Well, we just received the results from the July bar exam. I don't know if we know the rankings yet. We don't know where. We had a 95+% pass rate on the July bar exam, which is really good. That's a really good pass rate. The state bar will this week, we think, let us know where we were compared to other Texas law schools. They get that data out the week after the pass list comes out, but the students did really well. I don't know what the state passage rate is, but 95+% is a good That's a good day. That's a good bar exam. Yes, sir.
I heard that message was because the bar test teaches for the courtroom experience and not other types of things. Could you care to comment on that you're so good at the courtroom experience, which you already did?
I don't conceive of the bar exam as being focused on the courtroom experience personally. I mean, it's teaching, test constitutional law, criminal procedure, torts, contracts, which, contracts can be litigation or transactional, those sorts of topics. These are fundamental courses that students at every law school in the country take. That's the bulk of what the bar exam is. Why is it that Baylor has a high bar passage rate? One, because we challenge students. I think that's one thing. We demand excellence from students. Secondly, at Baylor Law School, this goes back to the small class size. You're not anonymous. You are not anonymous. And the way that plays out, I am myself a Baylor Law graduate. If you fail the bar exam, all your friends know it. And you know they're going to know it. And it encourages preparation. It encourages study because you can't fail privately because of the small community. It's like being in a small town. And that comes with challenges and it comes with advantages, but I think one of them is the bar passage rate helps. Other questions? Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate your
I do feel like you could have tested out in your time.
Yeah.
A little bit.
You'll have to invite me back.
Okay, there we go. Okay. Well, thank you so much for such a wonderful program. Honored to have you here, and thank you for, congratulations again to Chris, and thank you, Rachel, Ryan, and everyone participating in today's program. If you would, make sure you come back and join us. On October 28th, Paul Hubbard, which some of you may remember, he came and did a program on MLK for us, and it was excellent. He is coming to speak on Lincoln's Gettysburg address. So I look forward to hearing that. Now, if you would stand with me as we recite the four witnesses. Is it the truth?